back and say, I'm not a leader yet. It's not my responsibility. I'm just getting started. One of my favorite people, he was a dean at an institution I used to work with, said, you can lead from the middle. It doesn't matter if you're the secretary, the administrative assistant, you're the freshman, you're the new person hired. You're playing a good position, no matter which one it is. You can model inclusive behavior. You can lead your team to creative ideas. Students do it all the time. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. You have a responsibility to lead from the middle. One of the things that I found out about yesterday is RED, reaching every door. And this is a wonderful thing that St. Francis is starting, and I certainly encourage you to look into it in student activities. And it's an opportunity for leadership. It's an opportunity to get out there and to volunteer and to find out how you can help people in the Loretto community. And you're thinking, how is this a leadership opportunity? Some people just simply want you to clean the cobwebs out of the ceiling. Well, you have to decide which brush to use. What happens if she falls? What happens if she has other things to do? It might just be a trial run for how are you going to make decisions on your own. Because believe it or not, regardless of your age or your class rank or what have you, you're the leader in that environment because they called you. You have an opportunity to stretch your wings and to get out there, and you'll meet different people. And different just doesn't mean you're going to meet somebody of a different race or a different religion. You'll meet somebody of a different background. You'll meet somebody with different experiences, and you'll have a chance to make a difference in their life. We have leadership opportunities right here. So I would certainly encourage you to look into RED, which is reaching every door. One of the analogies that I use with my own doctoral students is cooking when we compare it to creativity. Often we see shrimp scampi. That's pretty simple. Shrimp, butter, garlic. You have shrimp scampi. But let's change the ingredients just a little bit. Let's add something different. We're going to add a little bit of white wine. We might add some clams. We're adding something different. So from a basic recipe of shrimp scampi, we have now created something new. The same thing happens when Mark Zuckerberg did Facebook. We already had MySpace. We already had, there was another one that was out. There were already these platforms out there. But he did something different, and it took off. I often tell folks that creativity is like adding different spices. So whether you put a dash of curry, some fennel seed, some peppercorn, when you add in different ideas and you have diversity, you will create something new, just like you do in cooking. And once again, I need to say, you are all the chefs in your own kitchen. From the positions that you sit in, whether student, administrator, staff, community member, it doesn't matter. You are a leader in your environment and have a responsibility to guard against discrimination and bullying and to create new and wonderful things, even right where you're at. We are all responsible for our work environment. And the reason why I say that is because that's where you're at. You're responsible for how your environment is going. You're responsible for how comfortable it is. If you find something that's not working out, feel free to report it. Feel free to try to make it better. Don't just stand back and say, it's not my job. So my recommendations for leaders, young, old, new, whatever, seasoned, you want to create an environment where people will follow you. You can be a big leader, but if nobody's following you, it's not going to work out too well. In this picture, we have a gentleman who's sitting at the end of the table, and he's got his followers way at the end. They're not even engaged. They're probably saying, oh, it's time to get out of this meeting. He's done something wrong that people don't want to follow him. You want to have a creative environment. You want to have an environment that will encourage people, be comfortable, have fun, use different colors or music or what have you. Now, I know every workplace environment is a little bit different, but if you can stimulate people to feel comfortable at work, they will create solutions, even during a budget cut, even when houses are being foreclosed, even when you have to cut staff members. You will find that people will be innovative if you create an environment that makes them feel safe. You need to allow for mistakes. Did you know champagne was a mistake? Dom Perignon, and this is a true story, made a mistake while fermenting wine. He did something wrong, and so it added extra bubbles, make it sparkling wine or champagne. This is a wonderful mistake, one that people have been enjoying for centuries apparently. But my point is, if you're a leader in your environment, you need to allow for mistakes. You need to allow for the unexpected. Because if you crush your staff and your followers when they make mistakes, they won't come up with things wonderful like champagne or the light bulb or the airplane that all come from a long list of creative mistakes. You want to have an inclusive environment, so let's remember Dr. Patricia. Let's think about our different generations, whether it's Mark Zuckerberg or Dom Perignon. Let's talk about, yep, here we go, Mark Zuckerberg again, and even Dr. Flossie. Regardless of their place in the world, they all come from different walks and different backgrounds, and they have all created something very different using these connections. But let me not forget policy. You want to create a compliant environment. Create anti-bullying policies. Have it on your books. Stop it before it starts. You want to have an early alert system in place, a sanctuary where people can go to report that they feel uncomfortable and to help protect your environment. You want to keep your ear to the ground, whether you're on your way to your car, whether you're in the restroom, or whether you're walking the halls. You'd be surprised what comments you hear at the end of a meeting. What's going on? You want to be an alert leader or manager or supervisor. And I also want you to remember that bullying prevention is everybody's responsibility. As I'd said before, know your data. Know the trends. You want to know what your market will bear. What's the point of creating Facebook if nobody wanted to use it? What's the point of creating these solutions, hybrid cars, windmills, solar panels? What's the point? But if you know what your market needs, and if you know the gap between the current reality and the future reality, you're in a wonderful position through data to have innovation. You certainly want to stay educated. Ignorance is not bliss. Know the policies and the changes. In 2011 alone, there have been several changes to Title VII, including the expansion of workplace retaliation and the threshold complaints, which now includes oral complaints. It used to be you had to write out your complaint. Now the Supreme Court has ruled even an oral complaint is valid and can be taken to court. You as a leader need to stay up on these rules and regulations and be fair and equitable in your workplace. Again, my name is Leah Hollis. My recent book is available in the back and also on Amazon.com, and it is a wonderful guide for leaders and managers who want to stay compliant with the rules and to avoid workplace discrimination. It also reviews the impact on organizations and their struggles to defend lawsuits. Last but not least, have fun. Have fun at work. Create something new. I don't care if you're an MBA dealing with subprime market, if you're designing airplanes, or if you're helping small children as a social worker. You need to smile. You know when somebody's smiling at you through the phone when you call customer service. You need to smile and enjoy your employees, employers, and your colleagues. You spend more time with them than you spend with anybody else. If you are not smiling at work, at least you don't have a smile on the inside, you're not creating and producing at work. As I'm wrapping up, I certainly would like to thank the President for having me here, President Gabe, and I met him earlier. I know he couldn't be here, but I really appreciate that. I appreciate the St. Francis Diversity Leadership Team for having me here. Thank you so very much. And my ambassadors to St. Francis, thank you very much, Heather, for having me. I've certainly enjoyed being here. And David Wilson, who has just been a wonderful ambassador. Every time I come to Johnstown, I see him in several places, and he also was quite instrumental in bringing me here to St. Francis. Again, my name is Leah Hollis, and I'm the president of Patricia Berkeley, LLC. I really enjoy talking to folks about leadership, innovation, diversity, and keeping the workplace an innovative and inclusive place that really embraces everybody. So thank you again for coming out, and I really appreciate you visiting with us this evening. It has been an exciting day here at St. Francis University. I've spent the day working with administrators, staff, and students to help them prevent discrimination in the workplace and to also create an environment that avoids bullying and other kinds of hazards that can be very costly to the organization. Again, my name is Dr. Leah Hollis. I'm the president of Patricia Berkeley, LLC, a diversity training consulting group that is out of Greater Philadelphia. I'd like to give a special thanks to David Wilson and to Heather Meck, who have invited me back several times to work here at St. Francis University and to help them create a more inclusive environment for everyone. It certainly fits in within their mission and certainly fits in within the things that I'm striving to do with organizations in the private and public sector. Thank you very much from Patricia Berkeley, LLC.